Good morning, Merry Christmas, Happy Vlogmas Day 25. If you have been watching since the beginning, thanks for being here still, and happy holidays. Today we are going to make cinnamon rolls. I meant to start it last night during Christmas Eve and I didn't, so we're just gonna make cinnamon rolls today and probably have it for dessert instead of breakfast. So come along with me making Christmas cinnamon rolls for the very first time. First though, I need to eat and make a coffee. I'm gonna put the espresso in here because there's still some condensed milk at the bottom, so that will be my sweetener. To get started with the cinnamon rolls, I added 1 packet of instant yeast to a cup of warm milk, and I just let that sit for a few minutes for the yeast to activate. After the yeast got all frothy, I added 2 large eggs, 1/3 cup of softened butter, and 1/2 cup of granulated sugar. And then I just mixed that together on a pretty low speed, and since the butter wasn't melted, it didn't incorporate all the way, but afterwards I added 4 cups of all-purpose flour and 1 teaspoon of salt, a little bit at a time. After the flour was completely incorporated, I switched from a paddle attachment to a dough hook attachment, and I whipped the dough on a medium speed for about 5-6 minutes until it looked like this. Then I transferred the dough to a greased up bowl and I let that rise in the oven actually for about 20 to 30 minutes. I just turned the oven on the lowest temperature and then I turned it off and I let the dough sit in there. While the dough was resting, I went ahead and made the filling. I used 1 stick of butter or 1/2 cup, 1 cup of brown sugar, and 2 tablespoons of cinnamon, and just whip that all together. Next time I make this, maybe I'll even add other spices. After the dough doubled in size, I moved it to my rolling surface with my rolling mat and rolling pin, and I dusted the rolling mat with a little bit of flour and then took all the dough out. And then I did add a little bit of flour to the top of the dough as well, and from there I just started rolling into a rectangle. And here is where I started to have to improvise because I made too big of a rectangle, so things kind of got a little bit messy. But anyway, I spread the filling all over to the size of the rectangle that I think I should have had, and then I ended up trimming the edges, which I don't think I should have done, but I did, and then I ended up making a loaf of those trimmings. From here, I started to roll the dough as much as I could. It was kind of sticking to the mat a little bit, so I just did the best that I could, and since this was my first time ever making cinnamon rolls, I thought it wasn't too bad. I trimmed the edges of this roll and then I cut it into 12 equal pieces, starting by cutting it in half and then quarters, and then each of those quarters into thirds. Then I arranged all 12 of the rolls into my baking pan. It's the same pan that I'm using or was using for the Millionaire Gazillionaire shortbread. Shout out Justine, it's her pan. After putting it in the pan, I let it rise for a second time for about 20 minutes. They didn't rise too much because I trimmed so much, but after that second rise, just before baking, I pour about 1/2 cup of warmed up cream, and then I bake at 375 for about 20 minutes, and here's how they turned out. And then of course you cannot forget the frosting. I whipped together 1/3 cup of butter, a whole packet or 8 ounces of cream cheese, and then some powdered sugar. I think I added maybe about 1.5 cups. I also added a little dollop of vanilla extract, of course, and I just whipped everything until it was smooth like this, nice and creamy. And then I forgot to press record, but I just took big old dollops of this frosting and spread it all over those cinnamon rolls, and this is how they turned out. Just one?
That we can go, sure?
Yes.
Yeah. See what you got going on. This is the secret Cinnabon recipe.
Yeah.
Wow. That's it. That's a store-bought. It's everything I imagined and even more.
Yummy.
Wow.
Merry Christmas. Bye.